There is a symbol made of 3 interlocking loops. No beginning, no end. No way to trace where one part ends and another begins. You've probably seen it on a TV show about witches, on Irish jewelry, maybe on a tattoo. It's called the Triquetra, and it might be the most contradictory symbol in human history. Because depending on who you ask, this exact same shape means 3 completely different things. To one group, it represents the Holy Trinity. To another, it represents 3 pagan goddesses. To a third, it represents something that has nothing to do with religion at all. And all 3 groups believe passionately that they're right. Long before Christianity reached the Celtic lands of Ireland, Scotland and Wales, the number 3 already held sacred power. Celtic spirituality was built on triads. 3 realms, land, sea, and sky. 3 phases of existence, birth, life, and death. Many Celtic deities appeared specifically in groups of 3, known as triple goddesses. The Triquetra, with its 3 interlocking arcs, became a visual shorthand for this entire worldview. It wasn't decoration. It was a philosophy compressed into a single unbroken line. The Celts believed reality itself moved in 3s, and they encoded that belief directly into stone, jewelry, and manuscripts centuries before a single missionary set foot on their land. When Christian missionaries arrived in Celtic territories, they faced a familiar problem. How do you convert people whose entire spiritual worldview is already built around symbols you're trying to replace? The answer, used repeatedly throughout history: don't replace the symbol. Reinterpret it. The Triquetra's 3 interlocking loops were recast as representing the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. 3 persons. One God, the symbol's pre-existing meaning of 3 things bound as one fit perfectly. This is sometimes called religious syncretism, and it worked. The Triquetra appears throughout illuminated Christian manuscripts, most famously in the Book of Kells, one of the most important religious texts in Western history, a pagan symbol. Now Christian, without changing a single line of its design. For centuries, the Triquetra was understood primarily as a Christian symbol in Western culture. The pre-Christian meaning faded from mainstream memory. Then, starting in the 20th century, something interesting happened. The modern pagan and Wiccan revival movements began reaching back into pre-Christian Celtic spirituality, deliberately reclaiming symbols that Christianity had absorbed centuries earlier. The Triquetra returned to its original association, the triple goddess. Maiden, mother, and crone, 3 faces of feminine. Divine power representing the full cycle of a woman's life, and by extension, the cycles of nature itself. This wasn't invention, it was retrieval. Modern practitioners were pulling the symbol back toward a meaning that predates its Christian reinterpretation by over 1,000 years. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Because there's a fourth interpretation that has nothing to do with religion at all. In secular and academic contexts, the Triquetra is often used simply to represent the concept of threefold unity: mind, body, spirit, past, present, future, maiden, mother, elder, reframed in entirely non-religious psychological terms. Modern psychology has its own fascination with threes: id, ego, superego, thought, emotion, behavior. The triune brain theory, describing the reptilian, limbic, and neocortical layers of human cognition. The Triquetra, completely independent of any specific faith, has become a visual representation of an idea our species seems to return to again and again. That wholeness often comes not from one thing, but from three things perfectly interlocked. Most symbols eventually settle into one dominant meaning. The cross means Christianity. The crescent means Islam. The Triquetra refuses to settle. It is simultaneously an ancient Celtic symbol of triadic cosmology, a Christian symbol of the Holy Trinity, a modern pagan symbol of the triple goddess, and a secular symbol of threefold psychological wholeness. Four meanings, sometimes in direct philosophical conflict with each other, all attached to the exact same unbroken interlocking design. This raises an uncomfortable but fascinating question about symbols in general. Is meaning something inherent in a shape, or is meaning something we project onto shapes, generation after generation, culture after culture, until the shape becomes a mirror, showing us back whatever we already believe? There's a structural reason the Triquetra feels so satisfying to look at, regardless of what meaning you assign to it. Human visual cognition has a well-documented preference for patterns that are complex enough to be interesting, but ordered enough to be comprehensible. Psychologists call this the human attraction to structured complexity. The Triquetra is mathematically elegant. It can be drawn with a single continuous line, never lifting the pen, creating a closed loop. This kind of unicursal design, a shape you can trace endlessly without ever finding a true start or end point, triggers something psychologists describe as cognitive fluency combined with productive tension. Your brain enjoys solving the visual puzzle of where the loops separate, even though they technically never do. This is part of why the symbol has survived across so many belief systems for so many centuries. It's not just meaningful, it's neurologically pleasing to simply look at. So what does the Triquetra actually mean? The honest answer is that it means whatever the person looking at it needs it to mean. Trinity, triple, goddess, mind, body, spirit, or simply an aesthetically perfect shape with no beginning and no end. Perhaps that's the real lesson hidden inside three interlocking loops. Some of the most enduring symbols in human history aren't powerful because they mean one specific thing. They're powerful because they're large enough to hold contradictions without breaking. There's another ancient feminine symbol that takes this idea even further. One representing not three meanings, but three actual life stages of every woman who has ever lived. And the controversy around it is even more heated than this one. That one is next.